So, if you have not heard the news, Facebook has recently made some changes due to the EU privacy laws that affect Messenger. Wanting to make sure that you guys understand what those changes are, how it affects your bots, and most importantly, what you can do currently now to get ready for these changes, which are going to happen December 16th, and then also what you can do going forward after the 16th to make sure that you're set up for success. All right, so how to navigate the December 16th EU Facebook Messenger changes for yourself, your clients, and your agency. So what's the deal? What has happened here? Well, if you haven't heard, the European Economic Area, aka the EEA, which is what I'm going to refer to it as going forward here in this video, includes the EU countries and also the United Kingdom, Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. So those are the EEA. So due to some privacy law changes that have happened in the area, and those of you who are located in those areas, you probably know this much more than I do of the details. But because of those changes, Facebook has had to put some limitations on some aspects of Messenger for business. The hope is that these changes are temporary. It's interesting that they are saying that it potentially could be temporary, so which is weird normally with laws that they're pretty set. They're not temporary, but we'll see. So there is a slight hope that some of this is only going to be for a little while. So who all is actually affected? Well, first, any page that has an admin that lives in one of the EEA countries. So if you are an admin on the page, and let's say the page is a US page, but you live in the UK, then it will affect your affect the chatbot. If you have a page that targets users who live within one of those countries, then it will be affected for those users. The flip side with the previous one, though, is that if the admin lives in one of the EEA countries, then all of the chatbot will be affected. Whereas with this, it would only affect those who live in the EEA countries. And then any page that's located in one of the EEA countries. So that has the location is one of those locations, right, of one of those countries. So those people are the ones that are affected by these changes. So what exactly are these changes that are coming? Well, I'm going to go over what has 100% loss of function that you can't no longer use going forward, hopefully again temporarily, versus those changes that are features that only have limitations. And then after I go over what is 100% affected, then I'll give strategies of how best to work around these issues. So first, features that have 100% loss of function include one-time notifications. So these are one-time notifications to be sent after December 16th. Even if you've been collecting them previously, that you, let's say a month ago, you sent out a one-time notification request and someone in the EEA accepted it, said, yes, I want to know when your next event is. And let's say your next event is after December 16th, it will not work. So one-time notifications will no longer work after December 16th. Growth tool automations will no longer function. So they will still take people to the chatbot. It just won't fire off the specific flow that you have connected to that automation or to that growth tool. Custom audiences no longer can be created for Messenger subscribers. And these ones with asterisks are ones that are currently right now being affected that started from November 16th. So you can no longer create custom audiences from the PSID numbers. Sponsored messages cannot be created and sent. And also loss of ad manager messenger statistics cannot be seen within the ads manager. Now, of course, you can do the math yourself and figure it out yourself, basing it off of, the flows that you come, like let's say you have a Facebook ad flow that's coming in that you tag them specifically. Well, then you can see how many people have that tag and then go into Ads Manager, see how much money that you spent. Then you can see, how much it was cost per new Messenger subscriber. So you can do the math yourself. It just won't be there for you right there. Also, you can't see or view the info of those subscribers, including the first and last name, the profile photo, their locale, time zone, and gender. And lastly, if you use live chat profile in terms of like you're messaging your subscribers and you have like the live chat agent and it has your profile photo and your name as the default versus the page name and photo, well, that will no longer be visible to subscribers. So you can just go back to before that was a function and just say, hey, I'm Mackenzie from Oracle Marketology, how can I help you today? Instead of it just automatically saying it. Also, the Send a Messenger and Checkbox plugin won't be visible on your website. It will actually make it look broken. So if you have those on your website and you have either you fit under one of those three categories, with it either being everybody will be affected due to an admin being in the EEA, or you just target people who are in the EEA, you want to make sure you change those out or remove them. Sending and receiving media will not be possible except photos. So you can send and receive photos, but you can't send and receive videos or files, audio files, PDFs, things like that. The menus will no longer be visible inside of Messenger. The typing indicator will not be shown, which is super weird. How does that affect privacy? I will never know, but the typing indicator will not be shown. And also any blocks or restrictions will not be visible on ManyChat. So, if you go to ManyChat and your page has had a block, it'll be a bar at the top saying that your page has had a restriction or block placed on it. So you'll have to find those in your page's support inbox to see if you've had that issue. So, good practice. If you're not already getting notifications from your Facebook page support inboxes, just check that once a week or so, just to make sure that everything is working fine. And also with the typing indicator, one thing I want to mention that, like for myself, for a lot of times when I'm using the typing indicator, it's to break up message blocks that are being sent, so it's not all at once and overwhelming. If for some reason, or with the typing indicator not working, that you can hopefully then just use the delay without typing, so you can have a delay without typing. If for some reason that feature is connected so much to typing indicator that it won't function either, what you can do is put your messages in separate message blocks and then just have a smart delay between each of those message blocks that are shown. So then that way it still ends up creating it that the messages aren't overwhelming at once. So now here are some features with limitations. So static buttons will only be visible on mobile, on people who are on a mobile device. So they won't be visible on desktop, web client, or chat plugin. So you can still have static buttons, but only people who are mobile, which again, how does that affect privacy? I do not know. But that's the issue there. For people who are on one of the devices of desktop, if they're on the web client through their mobile device or on the chat plugin, they won't be able to see buttons. They will receive an attachment unavailable error message. So you definitely don't want that. That's bad user experience, right? So there are some things that you can do instead, but just to let you know, that's what they will see if they aren't able to see buttons. Now here's some features that will work as they currently do, and these are really important because you can utilize these as your bedrock to make some adjustments, knowing that these will work no matter what. Quick reply. So you can still have buttons, which are great, that there's still the option for buttons, but they are quick replies. Message tags. So if you have like confirmed event update, post-purchase update, those things that you can still use those to send people messages. Just, the OTN does not work, so you cannot use that content type. Your welcome message will still run, as well as conversation starters. This is really important because, like I was mentioning with some of the growth tools, that the automation won't fire off that you want to send people to. Your welcome message will be what is fired off when people go to a ref URL or QR code or whatever. So the welcome message has become even more important now. Keywords, they always work. I love keywords and I use them all the time with visual JSON Facebook ads. So you can still use keywords in your bot, and they will definitely come into play with this as well. So here's some strategies and actions that you can use in your chatbot if you are part of the affected groups and you want to do these before December 16th. So first, if you're not located in the EEA, but there's somebody who is, see about removing them from the Facebook page as an admin. So like let's say you are an agency in the US, and let's say there is somebody who has done, social media management for the page, and they are located in the EEA, like let's say the UK. Well, see if you can have them removed from the Facebook page, because it won't affect the bots then in that case. And also, if you do these things after December 16th, I've been notified that it should then revert back and fix the issues as well. So if you're not in the EEA, but there's somebody who is, see if you can remove them from the Facebook page. The other thing you can do is, maybe the admin who is in the EEA, if they can't be removed from the Facebook page, they still need to be an admin there. They can either change their location on their Facebook profile to a country that is not affected. This isn't guaranteed though to work forever, so keep that in mind. I'm sure Facebook's smart enough to know IP addresses and be able to track where you're located, so just keep that in mind. The other thing you could do is have a secondary profile that's not located in the EEA as the admin on the Facebook page. That way you can still have access, but 100% do not rely on that as the only admin on the Facebook page, because if that profile gets shut down, then bad news bears for you. Then you will have nobody who can access the Facebook page any longer. So keep that in mind. Because the demographic information of the subscribers will no longer be visible to you, between now and December 16th with your current subscribers, make sure you save their information to custom fields. So use a broadcast that will then set a custom field with this information, with the first name, with last name, with gender if you want, with their time zone, things like that. That's important information to have to make sure that you have those in custom fields going forward. You also want to go through your current flows and make the needed adjustments where necessary. So change out static buttons for quick replies, where you're adding files, do links instead to like a Google Drive. And just make sure that you know how you're going to be affected and then make those changes now, so then that way the user experience is still a good experience, after December 16th. For your welcome message, like I mentioned, it's super important, especially now. You want to create an initial triage message. So ask if they're currently located in Europe. If yes, then ask if they're on desktop or mobile, right? So this will help you determine with conditions what adjustments you need to make for those specific people. So here's an example of that triage type of flow. So looking first if they've come through the bot previously and have said if they are located in one of those countries or if they're not. So if they're not, then you can just go back through how they were before, like in the US, for example, and they don't have to go through this process every single time. It can be super annoying, asking that over and over again, right? But if they are in the EEA, then what I do is I create a custom field of located in EEA. I put to mobile, and then you can see if they previously said they were on mobile or not. So if they were on mobile, then just say, hey, welcome back. Are you still on a mobile device or on a desktop? So that way, if you just assume that they're always on mobile, then when they get on desktop, they can't see buttons. It would be a disaster, right? So it's still good to ask them that. If they haven't said that they're on mobile, then go ahead and ask. Ask them if they are on a mobile device or on desktop. Because if they're on a mobile device, then you can give them buttons, right? So the other thing of the reason why I created a custom field versus a tag, I guess you could do it with a tag too. They could be interchangeable. But what I was thinking is you can set up a rule that after, maybe a day or 2 days after they last engaged with your chatbot, that you can just clear that custom field out. Or you could just remove the tag, if you do a tag instead. And then that way, when they come back, you can ask them if they are on mobile or desktop, or you can just leave it set to that and then just verify with them again. So going forward, here are some different strategies and actions that you can use if you're in one of these affected countries or you have subscribers in one of these affected countries to be able to still utilize your chatbot efficiently. So for Facebook ads, use the traffic objective with the visual JSON method that utilizes your chatbot's keyword, right? Keywords are still functional, 100%. So utilize those through Facebook ads. And actually 100%, to tell you the truth, I have multiple clients that I use this exact setup for, and they're not in the EU. So I've always used this, at least for the last few years. It works really great. So you can do the same thing where you can get traffic from Facebook ads that way. For the custom audience issue, back before PSIDs were even a thing, if those of you who remember, you utilize emails that you collect and upload them as a custom audience. So that's one way to get around the custom audience issue of PSIDs, is just using their email that they provide and upload that as a custom audience. If you're looking at the EEA or the bot has subscribers there, you want to utilize SMS and email as much as possible due to the loss of the OTN, right? So using SMS to bring them back into Messenger and email to get them back into Messenger. And I know some people are a little bit weary, especially in the EU, who say, oh, we really don't use SMS over here for marketing. Just make it really enticing and give them a reason why. And then also let them know, that they won't be bombarded by messages, just saying, hey, we'll only be sending you 2 to 3 messages a month or however many it will be, and saying you can unsubscribe at any time, right? So make sure that they feel like they're in control. But I'm using SMS and getting a ton of people from the EU who are opting into that. There are people who are saying, no, I'd rather just communicate via email, which is fine, but try and get SMS as much as possible because of the high engagement rates and open rates. The other thing is the comment growth tool is still going to work. So you can connect to Facebook ads, to organic posts, Facebook Lives, things like that. So definitely utilize the comment growth tool for getting traffic into your chatbot. Now, like I mentioned, the ref URL growth tool and the QR code, those people who click or scan one of those, it will take them to your chatbot, but it won't send the flow that you want them to send. So this is where a keyword comes into play. So you want to send them the link and say, hey, click the link below and reply with the keyword blah to get, what they want, right? And then you can even make it more enticing and interesting, right? By saying instead of a keyword, say the passcode or the password is, so click the link and then enter the password blah, and then you will be able to get what they're going for. So you can make it a little bit more enticing to get more compliance people instead of people just clicking. And I bet too, those people who actually go through that process will be higher caliber anyway in your chatbot. It won't be just they click a link or scan a QR code and then just follow through. Those people who actually then reply with the keyword, then it will they will be a higher caliber subscriber anyways. So the issue with the website buttons, you want to make sure you remove those because, like I said, they will no longer function. They'll look broken on your website, and you don't want that. So what you want to do is create a button on your website that, like, let's say you're just creating a button, that's not a messenger button. You're just creating a button, and then have the location where that button takes somebody as a ref URL, and then do the same thing. Tell them click the button below, go to Messenger, reply with a password block, whatever that is, right? So the issue with the first name, not showing up for future subscribers, you depending on how you have your chatbot set up and if it makes sense, you can use a user input to ask them for the first name and use that as a fallback. So since you already have that custom field, you're going to set up previously, before the 16th, use that to ask them for their name. Now, when should you ask them for their name? Well, it depends on your use case, what your goal is for that flow, things like that. Like for the customer chat widget, a lot of times when people come in as guests, one of the first things I say is, hi, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with today? And then they provide their first name, right? So utilizing that feature to be able to put them into a user or into a custom field to refer to them later on. And then this hasn't been 100% verified, so check it out and see if it works. But with the first name system field, that there's a fallback option. So you could put the fallback option of the custom field that you're saving their name to. Or if you don't want to have to worry about this at all, about using their first name, you can just have the fallback of a word that makes sense. So like, for example, let's say your message says, hey, first name, hey, system field, first name. Have the fallback being there. So it'd be like, hey there, or have it be friend. So, hey, friend. So then that way, if their first name isn't showing up, that it will default to that. Now, we'll find out after December 16th if that's how that works with that system field. My hope is that it will just go to that fallback if the first name is not visible there. But if not, then you'll end up maybe potentially having to use conditions to say, okay, does first name contain any, anything? And if it doesn't, then use the custom field or go to the flow that does the hey friend. So for mobile users, you'll want to put files like lead magnets, those, not videos, but I guess you could do a video too, but you want to put the files that you normally upload to a flow into a Google Drive and link to it in a static button. For the non-mobile users, you want to put the link in the text itself so they can still access and get whatever file that is. And like I mentioned, the welcome message is super important. So for that, you want to use a combination of quick replies and keywords. So then that way they can, if they need to access something, that they can reply with that keyword. Or you can even say in the welcome message, you know, if, like let's say you only have one type of ad that you run. So you can say, hey, reply below with your password, or click one of the buttons below if you are trying to access something else, something along those lines. Also, make sure that your default reply is like a mini menu, since the menu is not an option for these people. So utilize quick replies with that, and then also instruct them to reply at the word menu if they want to bring that back, right? Because as you know, the quick replies, when they click on it, the rest of them disappear. So being able to have them to pull that back up if need be by just replying with menu is a great way to do that. Also, stay tuned to learn more about updates from ManyChat and Facebook about these changes that are upcoming. ManyChat said that they're rolling out some new updates in the next few days to help them make this easier on everyone. You know, if you're watching this video and it's past December 16th by quite a ways, you know, there's probably some more updates. I'll try and remember to update it in the description or in the comments. So definitely keep an eye out for those updates. One thing I'm hoping that will be implemented is the ability to have just through ManyChat of functions of conditions to look to see, is the person located in one of these countries, right? So in the EEA. So if you have a worldwide audience, that you can use a condition to see if they're already in there, which would be great to be able to differentiate, you know, the different flows. And then also if they are on a desktop or mobile device. So that would be great if we could have access to that initially to be able to send them the right message without having to ask them, hey, are you in the EU? Or hey, are you on a mobile device or a desktop? Then that way you can just automatically send them the right message flow depending on that information already. And also, if you have a chat marketing agency located in one of these countries, you know, I know it can be kind of depressing to think, oh my gosh, all these changes, and I'm just trying to grow my business. You know, don't let those discourage you. Yes, they do suck, and mainly because, you know, you might have to revamp a lot of flows in your own bot or your client's bots, but it still functions, and you can still get great results with chatbots. So, like I said, you can still get clients and utilize them, utilize the chatbots for lead generation purposes. Like I mentioned, you can use Facebook newsfeed ads to drive the traffic into the chatbot. So that there's no change there. You can still do that. One big difference is, like I mentioned, you just have to change or have to do the statistics yourself of, you know, what the cost per lead is, see how many messenger subscribers you got. So there will be that manual process, but you can still utilize that for traffic. Same with the comment growth tool. You can still use that to get subscribers into the chatbot to go through to the call to action of whatever that is for the business. Using the user input, that still functions great. Asking for email, phone number, you know, for lead generation, to get that information that's needed, you can still do that just as well as you have previously. And then, you know, depending on the business, you can still send photos for coupons. You can still send links for websites for like e-commerce or for booking appointments, things like that. You can still do a lot of that. You know, sometimes it'll have to be a static button. Other times it'll just have to be a link inside of the message itself. But those both can still work really well for the ultimate call to action. You can have a successful chatbot agency in the EEA, either you living there or if you have clients that are there. I have a client that's that has subscribers that are in the EU. So I have to make some of these changes. You know, it's just the name of the game, and you just have to make do. But you just have to make the minor adjustments to your bots and Facebook ads to make sure that you're still getting people into your chatbot and getting results. So you just have to make those adjustments. So with that being said, if you have any questions at all, be sure to comment with them below. And then I will do my best to answer them with what information I have or information that comes forward, you know, over the next few days, weeks, months, or whatever. My hope is that all of this is just temporary. And then the other thing too, I really want to mention is if you currently live in one of these countries, the EEA, make sure you talk to your representative of your government to let them know how this is affecting your business, right? It's not just about users and their privacy in terms of like, how does this affect your business, or how does this affect privacy with having a lack of buttons and typing delays, things like that. So just letting them know how this is affecting your business, and also the businesses that you represent as clients. If you have an agency, it can make, at least that they're aware, right? So they can make, adjustments here and there. Hopefully that can make a difference. So definitely let people know how this is affecting your business for sure. So with that being said, I hope this was helpful. And again, if you have any questions, comment below. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later.